Twitch is such an interesting thing, an entity. There are loads of people out there that aren't familiar with it. And actually, I thought the most sensible place to start is like, can you just explain what Twitch is
quickly,
and how it works? Yeah.
Quickly for those. So, simplest way. So, Twitch is a live streaming platform where people go live. Okay, and so if you say it's a live version of YouTube or something like that. But the thing that really makes Twitch unique and the kind of need that it meets in people is, as human beings, we are all yearning for community. And what happens on Twitch is people go live and they basically share their lives. They let people into their living room. They go out in the world and they explore, they game. And then what they do is very authentically engage with those people that are watching. And since people spend a fair amount of time watching these people, a community forms between the folks that are watching. And I think that is really the magic of Twitch and what distinguishes Twitch from many other platforms that have live streaming. The phrase I use is we're community-centric live streaming because people find a place where they belong.
So the simple origin was like people would be playing video games in simple terms and they would be filming and streaming themselves playing this game, sometimes with others, but it's kind of evolved into a much broader set of content. Yeah. IRL or just chatting is are things that I'm following on the platform. Is there still a heavy proportion of activity that's gaming related, or is it now much more diverse?
Well, it's very diverse. And the interesting story is even before Twitch started as Justin TV. And in Justin TV, it was live casting. So in fact, it wasn't about gaming.
Okay.
And then Twitch formed. Live casting is what they called it back then, where you were just casting your life. And then Twitch pivoted and focused on gaming, and that's when it really took off. And now it's kind of come full circle. Because while gaming is still a big part of Twitch and will always be a big part of Twitch, more and more creators are out there just doing all sorts of things. You said IRL, which is in real life, which means you go out on the streets, you go climbing a mountain.
I've watched you stream from a water slide in a donut.
Yes.
Necessary
Is
content.
that IRL?
That's IRL streaming. It's in real life.
DJ Clancy, I think, is who you're streaming as. I'm interested, though, like, Ed does such a great job on this show reminding us of the sheer scale and the power of numbers of gaming. When we think about big movie hits, it pales into comparison of the amount of money earned by gaming.
Box office versus video games,
And what amazes me is how much the content creators are winning in terms of content.
Yeah.
They are getting $100 million contracts to jump from you to Kick, or from Kick to you or to YouTube, more than LeBron James is earning. Can you go to actually who your competition therefore is and how you fight for that content in this moment?
Yeah, the way I look at it, actually, we're fairly unique in this space, and I don't focus on the competition because as a live streaming platform at our scale, there are smaller ones, but really when we think of the social media space, you have YouTube, you have TikTok, you have Instagram, but Twitch is really the only one that solely focuses on this community-centric live streaming experience. And the way I describe it sometimes is we actually are a long-form platform, and that people sit there and watch for 1 hour, 2 hours. So in that sense, we're like Prime Video and Netflix, but we're social. So we're sort of right in the middle of what I'll call the streaming platforms and the social media platforms, where we're really a long-form social media platform.
You're also, dare I say it, right in the middle of the culture wars. And I'm just really interested as to how you navigate that in leadership when people are bringing them into their homes in a more intimate setting and feel that they can share anything that they feel, but that then can blow up in many different ways.
Yeah, so first of all, it's very important that we take it very seriously in terms of having a set of guidelines of what's appropriate on Twitch and what's not. And so we spend a lot of time thinking about that and letting our creators do what they need to do to protect themselves.
And you kick them off, too, if they're not abiding by it.
We kick them off if they're not adhering to them. That's really important for our platform. But really what it is that's just one of the things you have to deal with if you want to get that authenticity. Because this key difference between Twitch and many other short-form platforms, if you're just making a short clip, you can put on a mask. When you're live streaming, you can't put on a mask. And one thing that's been leading a lot of celebrities, entertainers, athletes, influence, all sorts of people now to live streaming, is they want that authentic, honest connection with their fans and turn those fans into community.
Dan, sorry to interrupt, team. Let's bring up the Gavin Newsom session then and just play a little bit of it, if we can. There's some sound associated with it, Dan, but in very simple terms, Gavin Newsom went on the Twitch platform, and my understanding is that he was engaging with one of his children's favorite content creators. That's the governor of California using Twitch to communicate. just explain how you feel about that.
Yeah, the way I think of it, what he's doing is he's just authentically interacting with those people that may have an interest in him, right? And I do that myself. I stream and have a great time doing it. And when you do it, you realize there's something really special about having that impact on people and having that feedback, that visceral feeling of, when I stream, I'll play the piano and sing, and they'll say, "Oh, I love that song," and it really kind of it's very different than just looking at metrics like you do on other social media.
You've been really clear. There are guidelines for the content creators. There are guidelines for the viewers in how they interact. But Twitch is one of a number of platforms that is caught up in a wider discussion about people that want to talk politics, or even in the context of radicalization. Just give us your sort of blanket policy and approach to managing that environment on the Twitch platform, please. Because DC is paying attention, not just to Twitch. I get that, but it is important.
Well, this would say, first of all, our policy is, you can freely express your views. It's how you say it that's important, that you should not be attacking, and hate and harassment is not allowed on our platform, and we're very clear about that. But we understand that people are going to express their views.
Super quick, who adjudicates that?
We have both automated techniques, and we have a large group of people that work whenever something's reported to then analyze it and see if it adheres to our community guidelines. And then if there's a violation, we take an enforcement action.